What's up, everyone? This is Ronnie just coming to you with another video. This is the Hart Pickers podcast. If you didn't know, now you know. But anyway, we're going to be talking about some things that went on in our business last week, May 8th to the 15th. Just going to talk about sales. We're going to talk about a few different things. Give you an update on how our co-signing is doing with the reel-to-reel. And we'll also talk about slow sales in a little bit. But anyway, getting into sales and how we did on eBay, we had a return. Returns are always iffy and sketchy. So we sold something to the global shipping program. And this is, every once in a while you have this issue. And, perfect pictures of the item and everything like that. Items tagged with a size. And all of a sudden, buyer opens a complaint. And what does it say? Item is wrong color and not right size. It's not like I have multiples of this used blazer, like, buddy. It's the same size. So I approved the return. I'm actually going to call eBay in the morning and see what's up. See what can be done about that, because I think he's just trying to beat the system. That, or he's just trying to figure out and see if I'm willing to play games and see if I'm going to refund him without sending the item. But, sometimes you got to play it with the, if it wasn't, it's like a $80 item. So, but it wasn't listed for too long. So, I mean, if I got it back and I was out a little bit of money, so be it. But a certain item, if this was a $20 item, I just would have refunded and walked away. I wouldn't even worried about it. It's not worth my time whatsoever. So last week we wound up having 40 sales on our eBay store for a total of $1,732, and that's $43.28 average sale price. We're not talking about shipping or anything about this. Is just item price. Shipping. I don't know what shipping was, but it was a little slower. It was definitely a roller coaster week. I mean, when we talk about our numbers for the week, like, it was crazy. I mean, we had, listen to some of these days, 139. We had a $30 day. We had one item sold. The next day, we had $52. It was one item again. We had back-to-back days where only one item sold. Then the next day, we wound up doing $585 in sales. And then followed by $260, $358, and $308 to round out the weekend. Kind of crazy in a little bit of a way. I mean, it was kind of like, I don't know, so up and down. And then we had somebody cancel for $150 sale. And I think that was on the 585 day. Somebody canceled a sale. And then someone canceled the sale the next day. So, I mean, it would have even been a better week. And I don't know what it is. Like, these people cancel a sale and they pay for an item and then they hit you up and it's like, oh, I didn't mean to buy it. Like, eBay makes you go through a few steps and then you pay for the item. Like, okay, buddy, I'll cancel your sale. I didn't print it out. I didn't ship it or anything like that. So it's whatever. But it's kind of amusing. At least I didn't get the whole, oh, my kid bought that, or what was the one? Somebody told me their cat jumped on their keyboard one time. That's a funny one. Like, are you crazy? But it was a really pretty good week for the most part. I mean, I haven't really been listing, so I really haven't been really messing with it. The weather here is finally changing. I think tomorrow we're supposed to be in the 70s. I mean, it has been cold and damp. Like, not cold, but like in the high 40s, 50s for a while, and wet over here for like 6 weeks now. And it's kind of been a little depressing, and with everything else going on, it's like I can't get motivated. But I'm actually happy. Maybe there'll be some yard sales to get get after and have some fun. And then I watch a video like from John Cincinnati Picker, and guys killing it at yard sales, and I'm just over here like just going crazy. I'm fiending like for a yard sales, man. Been fiending since like November. It's been a long time. But I mean, we had 3 international sales. So I mean, we had some crazy days. I mean, anywhere from 30 to 585, and we didn't cancel that sale. That would have been over a $700 day. So absolutely craziness. And then we had three international sales. I always try to include the international sales just to let people know, like, if you're not doing it, you're kind of missing out. I mean, 3 out of 40 is like what? 1 out of every 12, 1 out of every 12 and a half. So 1 out of 13. 1 out of every 13.3333333333. But anyway. So I mean, we had one going to Finland. I haven't shipped anything to Finland in a while. And of course it was a six extra large Ralph Lauren shirt. So, and it seems like a lot of the larger Ralph Lauren stuff always sells overseas. I'll be selling it to like Greece or France or Spain, and that kind of stuff is actually harder to get. I remember when I lived in the Dominican Republic, and I was like a 2X, and you couldn't find anything, even in like the stores there, even like the big and tall store. Like the biggest size they would have is like 2 or 3X. You didn't really have too much of a choice of selection. And there was only one big and tall store in the whole city of Santo Domingo. I mean, for the most part. I mean, you got to figure city of like 4 million people. That would have been actually a good business. I might have to talk to my wife about that one. She wants to move back there. Maybe we open a big and tall store. But anyway, that's a subject for another day. But so I mean, not a bad day. I mean, over the month so far, I think we're right around close to $5,000 for the month. Just under 5,000. We're probably at like 4,850 or something like that, I think. So I mean, plugging along, doing okay. I can't complain whatsoever. Some of that is from a deal that we made, but I mean, we're still getting a very large percentage of that sale. So I mean, it's all good in the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, we had to run a sale though this week. I'm not even gonna front. Like those days at the end, the rear, we ran a sale, and sometimes you have to kind of force the issue with people to buy stuff. Like people are being cheap. Kind of got to get after them. And we ran a sale. We ran a 40% off sale. I don't like doing this too much, but in a sense that we possibly may be taking our road trip in September. So I'm trying to think of ways to like kind of see how co-signing stuff for somebody, because this is kind of similar to the split. I think we did 45% the one day, and then the other day I said I'll cut it back to 40, because we sold a lot of like the bread and butter stuff was getting a little on the cheap side, and it's a lot of bread and butter stuff moving. It's not really the big things I thought would have been moving, but at the end of the day, it's all good. I'm not losing any sleep over selling any of this stuff. Get it in, get it out. I'm making money still. I'm not worried about it. So I mean, it kind of gives me that idea of what we could get from us selling our stuff. I mean, having somebody else sell our stuff for us. What kind of percentage we'd be getting back on things. So it also gives me an idea now when I go out to these stores in the future, like on our trip, and I look at something, okay, it's $5. What am I going to probably get for this? And what's going to be my percentage? So it gives me a better opportunity to probably pick better. And there's a few things with that too still we're working out. Depending on how it goes. But man, I can't wait for yard sale season here. It's gonna be fun. But And then we, just kind of forcing, the sales. And I'll talk more about that after this. But don't be afraid to run a sale. Don't be afraid to. I mean, like April from the Learning Curve, I think she did 50% off one day, and she had her best day ever. Nicole at State's Place used to do like 50% off one day a week. I know. I actually, and then I don't know. Chad, I think, did a 51% off sale one day. Gotta love Chad. That was a while back, though. That wasn't anything recently. But I mean, sometimes you just have to sit back and relax and, just let everything take its course. So, I mean, I'll give you a little update on the reel to reel. We sent in the 9 items. I gave kind of an update earlier in the week, but if you didn't watch it, since then we have sold 3 items that we have sent in. So we sold 33% of the items that we sent in over the last 2 weeks or so. And right now we sold a dress for $76, another dress for $156, and a men's dress shirt for $40. So our cut of that is 55%, which is $150. Which I can tell you right now, 2 of those, the one women's dress we've had for about 7 months, the other dress we've had 2 years, and the men's dress shirt we've had probably 6 months, if not a year. Like in that time frame, like it's a Zegna shirt, like it just wasn't moving at all. So I was actually, happy when it moved. Not gonna front. Stuff actually doing pretty good. The problem is, I mean, you're going with very high end stuff with that website, so it's not going to be something I'm going to be sourcing a lot to find. I'm actually probably this week at some point. I'm going to be sending more stuff to them and see. I don't know how many items. I have to kind of go through our eBay and see what items they're willing to or on their list. Ooh, sleep. Sorry about that. See what stuff's on their list and see what I think they can sell. And I'm kind of getting an idea with the items they return to us and everything like that. But for the time being, so far, it's not bad. And then once you get it to over $1,500 in a calendar year, you get 60%. So it's not that bad. I mean, it might be decent. Like, I don't know. I might source some stuff off of eBay just to send to them. Or consignment stores, like higher-end consignment stores. If I find out the right things and what sells, we'll see. I mean, like the last few weeks, I've listed a few things. I think the only thing I listed on eBay that maybe would have sold on the reel to reel is a pair of men's Salvatore Ferragamo monk strap shoes. Actually, they would have easily sold on there, but I probably would get $200 to $300 for those because they look like they've never been worn once, and they're actually like brand new condition. But the thing is, if I sent them into them, they're selling like around 225, so to get 55% of that, it's not really worth it for me right now. It's better for me to sell it myself. If I was on the road, I'd pack them up, ship them out, and that would be it. I wouldn't want to deal with them. On the road there'll be a few things I deal with, but I don't really want to mess with that stuff all that much. So that's getting through that. I mean, and then we're going to talk about slow sales for a little bit. I mean, this is that time of season. A few weeks ago, a few months, maybe a month ago, we did a video on this talking about it. And, a lot of new sales. I see this all over the Facebook groups. I see this all over YouTube, Instagram. Like, and it happens a lot with newer sellers. Like, the struggle is here now, and people need to keep up on it, and people need to understand that there's going to be a slowdown because the traffic is just not there. Now you can sell some other things to make up for it. Sell things that are going to be in season if it's not like swimming trunks or bath towels or sunscreen lotion or whatnot, bathing suits, kind of stuff. The problem is, I mean, far and few between. I mean, unless when it comes to high dollar things, a lot of that stuff is not high dollar things. A lot of that stuff is just your run of the mill, uh, cheaper items for the most part. So it's definitely, eBay is a roller coaster every year. It's so up and down from one month to the other, from one day to the other. Like I talked about, we had a $30 day, followed by what potentially could have been over a $700 day. Like I had my best day on eBay ever was like $1,800. The next day we sold one item for $100. Like eBay gives no shits, no fucks. They are just eBay is it's a platform I just don't understand what so much, and well, I want to catch whoever made Cassini and beat them because that algorithm thing is crazy. I'm not sure if that's to blame for it or not. I don't even know if people talk about that anymore, but something sketchy about that. Too much. But from here till, I mean, it's gonna start slowing down. Even though last year May was our best month, but we had some crazy sales last May. So that's like last year May was actually a really good month for us. But we sold some signs for like $1,000 that we got at a estate sale, and then the same week technically we sold a Griswold frying pan for $1,400. A really hard to find frying pan. So I mean, a lot of times you just pick stuff up. I remember we picked up 2 pairs of Brooks Brothers men's shoes by Pearl and Company. Those sold immediately, like the same week, like for $150 and $200. It was crazy the stuff we were getting at yard sales, and stuff was just really selling like really quick too. So I'm just kind of curious about how all that's working out and how that's going to be. And you just have to be aware. That's why yard sales break up the monopoly a little bit of going out there to thrift stores all the time. You could try to find different things that may sell. And there's other things. I mean, don't Amazon for us carries us a lot in the summer. I haven't done a lot with Amazon this year. This year I've kind of replaced Amazon with selling signs. And basically it's my hobby, but it's becoming more and more of a selling platform. I just sold a sign I picked up not too long ago for $750, and I'm making double my money on it. So I mean, it's good. Business is good. I can't complain. I'm doing actually things I love. Problem is selling signs. These things are huge. They're bigger, and I love them too much. I love these things like you wouldn't believe. But I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do whatever you got to do to make money. And it's sometimes good to have your hands in multiple selling platforms. There's eBay, there's Amazon, which a lot of people do sell on. And if you're selling the right thing at the right time, you could actually do fairly well. At some point, I'm going to have to utilize Amazon a lot better than I am now. And it's good that I'm ungated in a lot of different categories, like CDs is one, and a few other categories that we can sell, like shoes, sneakers, we're ungated in. Um, I've never checked to see if we're ungated in Nikes. We did sell some Nikes before, but I'm not 100% sure if we're ungated because I haven't checked. I'll have to check that out next time I'm at a Marshalls or a TJ Maxx to scan some shoes just to see if we're still if we're ungated in Nike, or is that something that everybody got gated and you had to pay the fee to get ungated in. It'll be interesting to know. I just haven't even been keeping up with the Amazon news just because it's not worth my thing. And then there's people, Etsy is a good selling platform. I mean, I've failed at it twice, but it doesn't mean it's not going to work for somebody else. And who knows? It's one of those platforms I may try again, but it's not going to happen. Not now. What else? I mean, then you have like Bonanza that people talk about as like one of these sites that I'm not really with it. It never really worked for me. It links your stuff over from eBay, but it always made a mistake with my listings and always acted so weird and odd. Then there's like Grailed for streetwear stuff and things like that. Then there's Poshmark that I could just never get into. I'm not much of a social media person, so I don't know if that would work for me also so much. I'm post something on Instagram and you don't see me on Instagram for 4 or 5 days, a week sometimes, just because I try not to get caught up into it. It's all about work and time and putting your time into certain platforms, And social sales, I mean, depends on so much too. Like, it depends on when you came into the game. So if you came into the game at fourth quarter, you're going to be thinking it's all gravy. But the thing is, it's a roller coaster. It goes up and down. I mean, last year our best month was like close to 12,000. Our worst month was probably 4,500. Now, I did take some of the time off in the summer. I didn't list at one point for like 5 or 6 weeks, but still was down. I mean, even if I was listing consistently, maybe I would have did 6. It's not like we do 30-day listings, so technically there's stuff ending and being relisted almost daily, if not every other day. So it gives us the effect like we're listing every day technically. So who knows? We weren't in the situation where we were going to move and take our thing on the road. I'd probably be doing like 10-day listings. I would get an anchor store and go all out and do 10 days and see really how that works. We've done it in the past, and once it really did well for us, 1 month, and that was in November 2014. But we tried it 2 other times or 3 other times months after that. And those months, it didn't work for us. Like, we didn't see any difference in sales other than I'm seeing more money in my fees because I wasn't willing to change through like an anchor store at that time. We had about 800 to 1,000 listings at that time. I mean, I'm at an all-time low. I think of right now, I'm at 524 listings. Like, my store is just like, it's lean. There's not much going on in there. There's some good stuff and stuff be selling. I mean, we sold like 18 items over the weekend. So, I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter how big your store is, but you gotta have shit people want, If that's what you gotta have stuff that people want to buy. If you could figure that part out, you're good. What price points and stuff like that. But it's definitely it's a game. That it is. It's a game. But just keep at it. But to a lot of you newer resellers, you gotta understand it's not always fourth quarter. And some people, they were in fourth quarter, and their sales will increase maybe for a year or two, and then when they get to a plateau where they're happy with like 1,000 listings, 2,000 listings, or whatnot, they'll be like, because they never seen the drop off because they were constantly listing more, like they were making their inventory bigger and bigger, so the drop offs didn't seem that much. But when you're at a plateau and you're like 1,000 listings year round, you will see the up and down. But let's say you're going 100 listings, the next month you're doubling it to 200, you're doubling it to 300. You shouldn't be really seeing the drop offs all that much. As you make it bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, there's going to be some fluctuation just because the traffic is not there in the summertime. Too much going on. And it's weird. There's certain things that just do better in the summer. Like if you're selling advertising, vintage advertising, for whatever reason, when I looked that up before, it actually sells fairly well in like the late summer, and then it spikes through Christmas time. Like it slows down into, and then it spikes around Christmas time. Then it goes back down. It seems like it goes up around, if I remember, around seems like tax income time, maybe, because people have a little more expendable income. But it's one of those things. It's kind of crazy. But that's all I can say. I'm just ready for yard sales. I mean, in the worst way. I'm going crazy over here waiting for yard sales. But I think I'm all out of stuff to talk about, tell you the truth. But hope you like these. The more thumbs up, the more I'll continue to make these kind of podcasts. I actually enjoy just talking to the computer and going. Sometimes I'm a little repetitive, and sometimes I lose my train of thought. But I don't have a list in front of me really to go off of, other than like numbers that we did on our store. Maybe I should. Maybe it'd be a little better, but I think it comes more naturally when I'm just coming off the top of my head. But now remember, like, comment, subscribe. Give me some love. I'll see you guys later. And also, I just put up a shipping video. That was one of the issues that people told me was the #1 reason why they're afraid to jump in. So I did a shipping video, talked about how we did shipping. Maybe that'll help you out. Maybe it won't. But give it a look. See you guys later. Have a good week.